Andhra Pradesh, the Kohinoor of India. Andhra has the second largest coastline in India and is also blessed with one of the most fertile soils. That is why over 60% of the people here rely on agriculture and fisheries. Not just the land, you will see many affluent and prosperous families here, and also the people are highly intellectual and ambitious. Films and politics are two big things in South India. Both these fields are conquered by most of the people from Andhra. Just to name a few, NTR, ANR, YSR, CBN, and not just that, entrepreneurs like Ramoji Rao. That is how rich Andhra is. Fast forward to today, Andhra Pradesh is the only state, well, other than Jammu and Kashmir, that has been undergoing lot of changes and uncertainty. Why? Purely because of the bifurcation that happened 10 years ago. Years is a long time for a new state to establish its roots and spread its wings. But what has been happening in Andhra? Nothing, no progress on the ground. Youth in Andhra have barely any hopes about the employment opportunities. No investments, no industrialization. You will see people there, even today, they are debating about one capital versus three capitals. Why? Because the leaders there lack vision for the future and they are running politics purely based on caste, emotions, sentiments and welfare schemes. Just take a look at the manifestos. No manifesto has a clear agenda for the development of the state. People just have to pick the best among the worst. Andhra politics are very complex. That is why we took special interest in making this video to talk about few interesting things. Let's start with our Prime Minister. We all know how attacking Mr. Modi's political campaigns are. But what happened in Andhra Pradesh? Why did Mr. Modi not attack Jagan, the CM of Andhra, from opposite camp? Andhra is the only state where BJP and Congress are equally unpopular. Why? Coming to the main opposition party TDP, if they lose this time, will they exist in 2029? Now let's talk about power star Pawan Kalyan, who is the kingmaker in Andhra politics. Will his power-packed emotional speeches convert into votes? Will he ever be the king? Not just this, we will also talk about the key issues in Andhra, including the capital issue, Land Titling Act, and not just that, the $1 million question, who will win this time? Well, this video has been delayed by over 2 weeks, mainly because of the debate that's going on in my head about the language. Because you know, Telugu state, Andhra, and I am a Telugu speaker, mother tongue. So I prefer doing it in Telugu because I can just share this video with my friends, extended family, everyone. But still, I chose to do this in English finally, only because of the love and support that we have been receiving for our other videos in the election series, you know, that we did on Northeast, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Rajasthan, all these things. Especially guys from Northeast, Assam and Tamil Nadu, you have my heart. Thank you so much for the love that you poured through your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then the second reason, Prithvi, I really have this complaint on you. Why do I have to chase you for doing this video on your home state, Andhra Pradesh? Why?
Yeah, because like anybody in Andhra will tell you, it's a very depressing state of affairs in Andhra. So I wanted to avoid doing the video as long as I could. But we're only a day away from polling, so I can't delay anymore.
You can't escape now. But that's okay, don't worry much. Let me give you a good news. Because I am Telangana, you are Andhra, you always keep blaming that Telangana took away Hyderabad.
They did.
No, but see, in terms of GDP, Andhra is 8th and Telangana is 9th. So I really hope that makes you feel better.
Well, we should have been number 3 or number 4. So, but thank you for trying anyway.
So let's start with key issues. Andhra is full of issues now. Also, I want to, give you an opportunity to vent out your frustrations.
Can we start with the capital issue?
Yeah, definitely capital. Because it's been 10 years after bifurcation. 5 years TDP and 5 years, the current 5 years are with YSRCP. And both parties have strikingly opposite ideologies, the way of governance as well. But still, even today, there is lot of uncertainty and, instability about capital. People are still talking about 1 capital versus 3 capitals. Why?
It's because of, obviously, like you mentioned, different ideologies. When Chandrababu came in 2014, he picked Amravati. He developed the city to a certain extent. But obviously, uplifting the city to a capital standard takes time.
Yeah.
He lost power. Jagan came in. He didn't want to continue building Amravati. He pitched the idea of 3 capitals. His reasoning is a valid one. His point was that, you need to spread out the development rather than focusing in one city, which is valid because if you look at the lessons learned from bifurcation, the amount of resources spent on Hyderabad and ultimately people lost out on Hyderabad, it would be good, if you can spread out the development. But I think at this stage, building 1 capital itself takes eye-watering amount of money. And where would they get funds to develop 3 capital cities?
Yeah,
it's a bad idea at this point. It's good idea in principle, but not at this time.
Yeah, and also I think they could think of something like what TRS did, smart cities approach.
Yeah,
they can develop 1 capital, but also
it takes time. I think they have to focus on 1 at the moment, and then as the wealth grows, they can start investing in other cities.
Yeah. And also, like, we spoke about CBN starting, when actually the state formed, CBN invested huge amount of funds in developing Amaravati as the capital. And also, like, people donated land near Amaravati as well to very low prices. Now those people are suffering. And most importantly, how is Andhra Pradesh ever going to repay the funds that CBN put into Amaravati? And then Jagan came and completely scraped everything off.
Yeah, I think lack of political continuity is a very big problem. This is a newly formed state. There is a lot of work to be done. So political continuity, not only political continuity, but the development continuity is very, very important.
Yeah.
And I think having 2 different ideologies, scrapping everything with the previous government did is not at all ideal. Okay, you did a comparison with Telangana before. Let me do another comparison. The foreign direct investment that Telangana got in 2022-23 is 4.86 billion. During the same period, Andhra got a mere 586 million. That is less than 1/8 of what Telangana got. And that essentially summarizes our problem. Lack of infrastructure, lack of political continuity, lack of developmental agenda, lack of investment.
Employment as well, lack of employment. Yeah. And also to add to that, there is this recent issue that is being highlighted by the opposition parties in their campaigns, which is a land titling act. Because Andhra, over 60% of their income comes from agriculture. So it is very important for farmers, to have their land. That is like part of their family. But this land titling act, which is, the purpose is good. But when it comes to implementation, apparently the ruling party is using this act for kabjas and more corruption. So this is another issue. So, I mean, AP is full of issues now, lot of uncertainty. That is exactly why the government, whoever people are choosing this time, third time, it's very important for the development of the state. Much needed development, much needed. So let's talk about the big players.
Okay, let's start with TDP, run by Chandrababu Naidu. He is often called as the CEO because of his style of governance.
He's famous as an administrator more than as a leader.
And he played a very pivotal role in developing Hyderabad as it is today. So we were all hoping that, when he became the chief minister, that, Andhra would also get the same type of investment, because, he lost power after 5 years. It did not happen. But if you look at his political future, he's 74 at the moment, and, this is his last chance to be in power. I think by 2029, I think he might be retired. And he's obviously grooming his son, Nara Lokesh. Lokesh is not at a level, where, he can fill the boots of either his father or his grandfather, who is the legendary NTR.
Yeah.
Or even compared to Jagan, I think he has a long way to go, even if he wants to compete against Jagan by himself. So I think there is a lot of issues waiting for TDP. So if you look at, if they lose, then probably they're going to have a big problem in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because as you know, BJP always waits in the wings for these kind of opportunities.
Yeah. And also to add to that, lack of the next string of leaders in TDP. That is the main issue. I think if we look at parties like Congress, Gandhi's family completely conquered the party, and then TRS recently, KCR's family. So when parties are completely occupied by certain family, no matter, the person may have formed the party, but still party never belongs to a certain family.
Yeah.
So if the leaders don't realize that, but people are actively watching, so they are going to, decimate those parties. That is what happened with Congress, and that is what happened with TRS. So I sincerely hope that CBN realizes this and makes way for the next string of leaders, because it is very difficult for Nara Lokesh to compete with Jagan, and also the kind of political smartness and all that. So yeah.
So good, that's a good point. So if you look at it, if he doesn't do what you are suggesting, even if TDP gets into power,
this time
they will still have this problem in 2029. When ultimately Chandrababu retires, lack of leadership means that, party might be split. A lot of people might align with BJP.
Yeah, I think you can explain it, by taking example of Shiva Sena, Maharashtra.
Yeah, that's right. So Bala Sahib, when he was alive, extremely popular. He was always an ally of BJP.
Bal
Thackeray. And his son Uddhav Thackeray came into power with the help of BJP. But they had a disagreement on who needs to be the chief minister. So he really wanted to be chief minister. So he aligned with Congress and NCP, who are kind of the opposite end of that spectrum. I think Bal Thackeray would have never imagined that his party would align with Congress, because they are so opposite. So obviously what happened, people in the party are unhappy because you trust the party, you trust the principles and ideology
of the party. Yeah.
And BJP used it to their advantage and split the party. Now he no longer has the party. The majority of the party is now moved away from him.
Uddhav Thackeray.
Yeah, and the same thing will happen to TDP.
Yeah, and also CBN knows that it is his last chance to throw the dice, and that is exactly why, despite the humiliation, he knows that, everyone knows that BJP got him arrested, but despite that humiliation, he approached Modi because he needed Pawan Kalyan, to win this time. Pawan Kalyan actually split the votes last time, which led to TDP's loss. So let's talk about this interesting personality, the power star, the kingmaker, Pawan Kalyan.
Yeah, he's very passionate, very emotional, and very straightforward and naive. He's not a typical politician. He's obviously got a lot of support among the youth. I think if you look at last time, all of that popularity did not translate into votes. Exactly. But I think the feeling is that he's getting more and more support this time, and he's going to make a real difference. So I think with his support, TDP hopes that they can turn the tables around and then they can get into power.
Yeah. So if the alliance forms the government, what role do you think they will offer to Pawan Kalyan?
I think he's got a very good relationship with Modi. I think Modi sees him as someone who he can easily control in the state. So I think he will get a prominent role, whether he gets a finance ministry or a home ministry or any other prominent ministry or even a role in center. We can't say, but he will be a key player in the government if they form the government.
Okay, but I see Pawan Kalyan only as the kingmaker. So I want to know your opinion. Will he ever become the chief minister?
Look, like I said, he is naive, more straightforward. I don't think he's got the same level of political savviness as, let's say, Chandrababu or Jagan or Modi. But, if he is in the government for the next 5 years, he can definitely learn, and he's got the smartness, he's well read, he's got the ideology, he has the passion to serve people. So learning, how to run politics is something that he can do. And I'm sincerely hope that, you need people like him in the state, and at some point in the future, he can definitely become the chief minister. As long as he grows and he learns, he can one day be the CM.
Maybe I agree to a certain extent, but I really can't convince myself that Pawan Kalyan from Janasena can become the chief minister. I don't think that is possible, especially when politically complex land Andhra is. So I don't think he will ever have that wits to, just play those games and all that. I think the safest approach for Pawan Kalyan is to join BJP if he ever wants to become the chief minister. But anyway, let's wait and see. Now let's talk about the ruling party, the current CM Jagan, YSRCP, who is the man of masses. He has got a spectacular vote bank in rural areas, especially rural women, because money is directly landing in the bank accounts of rural women. So will he become the chief minister again?
Just to start off with as an intro, he's got his father's charisma. YSR was a hugely popular leader.
Yeah.
I think there is a popular opinion that if he were alive, the bifurcation would not have happened. He's such a powerful leader in Andhra. And his son obviously acquired a lot of those qualities. So, like you said, he's done his homework. I think as soon as he came into power, he realized that he needs to have these welfare schemes to obviously increase his vote bank, which he did for the last 5 years. So I think that is probably the deciding factor in this election, that whether his people in the rural parts, people below the poverty line, whether they will continue to support Jagan or whether they will think that, look, we need someone with more of a vision rather than just implementing welfare policies. I think that is the key question. And whatever way these voters turn, they will decide the fate of the power.
Yeah, agree. And also, Jagan's votes this time could be split by his sister Sharmila, who is representing Congress party. Jagan is very much anti-Congress for his own reasons, because Congress stopped him from becoming the chief minister when he lost his father. So he has that huge grudge on Congress, and his sister has that agenda to damage her brother. So now I want to know your opinion. Will Sharmila divide the Reddy votes or that caste-based votes that go to Jagan?
No, I don't think so, primarily because she is representing Congress, and I don't think anyone in Andhra will ever forgive Congress, at least for the next 50 years. And the other point you mentioned about him not becoming chief minister after his father's death. Look at the irony. The Gandhi family owns Congress, but they were lecturing Jagan that, look, just because your father is a CM, you can't be a CM. That's why they paid that price. If Jagan were in Congress, they would still be, a political party in power, right?
Yeah. That's now, why they say preaching is easy, but not practicing. Okay, so we spoke about all the key players. Now let's talk about the big boss, who is controlling Pawan Kalyan, Janasena, CBN, TDP, and also Jagan, YSRCP. So the big boss is none other than Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, who maintains his own equation with all these three leaders. So I want to really understand what is BJP's long-term plan Because even if we look at Modi's speeches in Andhra Pradesh in his recent campaign, he never attacked Jagan. People know how fiercely he attacks the opposition leaders.
Yeah.
He never attacked Jagan, and also he did not promise anything to Andhra. Andhra needs much more. So people are looking up to Modi to promise, especially BJP delayed that special status. So what is going on with BJP?
Okay, there are two parts to it. The first part is why BJP is not supporting Andhra in a way that people are expecting. Because once the state has been separated, the entire blame went to Congress.
Yeah.
And Congress is suffering as a result. So if BJP comes to the aid and develops the state, then people will easily forget the problems that caused by Congress, and they will forgive Congress easily. So BJP wants to make sure that that never happens. Yeah. So that is one of the points. That's why.
Sorry to interrupt, but don't they realize that people are also developing that disappointment on BJP because they are not giving funds for the development?
Yeah. That I will answer that in just a second.
Okay.
So that is why even in 2014, even though they promised special status, they promised a lot of funding, they never fulfilled those promises. And ultimately, Chandrababu had to come out of the alliance, and then, obviously had a bitter fallout with Mr. Modi, and even went to jail because of that. The second part of this is BJP is in a win-win situation. No matter who wins the state now, BJP is stand to gain the ground.
Yeah.
The reason is, and one of the points that you raised is, why are people are still also against BJP right now? Yes, they are, because you can see that they haven't done anything to our state, but they are waiting for the state to become even worse, and then they can swoop in probably around 2029 to say, look, these are all the parties, regional parties, which are quite useless. We are the big party, we are the big brother, we will look after you. And they will bring in all this funding and all these special status, whatever with them. And then they'll try to grab a foothold in the Andhra politics. And that is their strategy.
Okay.
And that is why even now, like you said, Modi hasn't promised one single investment to Andhra.
Yeah. So simply BJP is just waiting for, AP to completely get ruined, so that they can replace the regional parties. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, anyway, so now we spoke about all the big players. We spoke about the dynamics, which are very interesting and complex, which is why we also need to talk about the multi-million-dollar question. Who will win this time? I really don't think anybody can answer this, because it is very neck-to-neck situation. But do you want to take that risk of, doing that prediction this time? Especially you are from Andhra. So I want
Because I'm from Andhra, I have to take that risk, and I will take that risk.
Okay.
And I will put my neck on the line to say that the coalition of BJP, TDP and Janasena will come through. I think there is enough anti-incumbency against Jagan, and I think there is enough feeling on the ground that, looking at the financial state of the Andhra, people realize that, spending a lot on welfare programs will not work in the long run. So I think that feeling will come through, and I think Chandrababu will become CM again. Okay. In terms of Lok Sabha, I think again this equation and this tacit understanding with BJP probably is the reasons why I think Jagan hasn't fielded a lot of strong candidates for Lok Sabha. So irrespective of what happens in the assembly segment, definitely BJP and the TDP combined will get more seats in Lok Sabha. I think they will probably get around 17 to 18, with Jagan getting anywhere between 7 to 8.
Yeah. So I mean, you were saying the alliance is going to win this time. Could be because if I rewind, 2019 elections, the results, I think YSRCP won 151 out of 175, which is a huge majority. But if we look at how they won those 151 seats, it's a very narrow win.
Yeah.
You know,
In terms
and
of
the main reason
in
is
terms of with each constituency, the number of votes by which they won.
The one is narrow.
Narrow in some of these constituencies.
I mean, that is mainly because, you know, the votes are split by Pawan Kalyan, who actually did not, I mean, he went alone without TDP last time.
Yeah.
So he just split the votes. That is the exact reason why CBN, he approached Modi and somehow he got hold of Pawan Kalyan. So I think that could be the reason why, like, you know, I would kind of agree with you that the alliance can win this time. But I also want to say that, you know, it is not going to be an easy guess, because, you know, Jagan has got his own very strong vote bank in rural areas, especially rural women. So for me, I have to say that it all depends on how people in rural areas choose to vote this time. So it is all about them.
I think they are going to be the deciding factor.
They are going to be the decision makers this time. And the main request I want to say in this video for all the voters of Andhra Pradesh, please don't get stuck, or please don't limit your dreams to just welfare schemes. I know we are all receiving money, well and good, but we have to also think about our children. So, I mean, do you really want your children also to look up to those welfare schemes? No, right? You don't want your children to just, you know, just end up with agriculture or fisheries. They may have bigger dreams. So, please think about that. But I also want to say, please don't judge me that I am asking you to vote for some other party. No, if you see both parties, look at both parties' manifestos, TDP and YSRCP, they both are equally hopeless.
They are both competing for the welfare schemes.
If one party is saying we will give 3,000 rupees, the other party is saying we will give 5,000 rupees. So both are completely competing. They are trying to woo the people in terms of welfare schemes. But definitely, you know which party will you know, fulfill your dreams and also has that vision for the development of the state. So please choose wisely. So do you have anything more to say?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Okay, and you are from Andhra, so I mean, if I have to ask you this, whom do you vote for?
I'm not going to say it here. That's a secret.
Okay, fine. I expected you will say that, but anyway, let's wrap it up. We really enjoyed the discussion as always. And I think the duration is a little bit longer because we belong to that state. But definitely we are very happy to share this interesting information with you. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end. Thank you.